Will the clerk please read the title and any amendments that are with this proposal?
The title, an act to implement a high-speed rail network across 3 major regions of the United States.
Author, you are now recognized for your 2-minute opening statement.
Thank you, Sir Chair. Jody Dahmer, representing the Commonwealth of Kentucky. I reserve my right to yield the remainder of my time to the close explanation.
That is your right.
If someone were to ask what the single most important creation to have ever come from the United States, he or she is bound to receive many different responses. However, in my mind, the answer is simple: American innovation. In its 236 years of existence, the United States has been at the forefront of innovation since the beginning. Politically, with the creation of a functioning democratic republic; scientifically, with the innumerable contributions of inventors such as Edison and Ford; and manually, through the massive projects in our infrastructure that have shaped this nation to the industrial powerhouse it is today. In the 19th century, the Transcontinental Railroad allowed for the settlement of the western United States. In the 20th century, Eisenhower signed the Interstate Highway Act in 1956, producing a network of highways to traverse the United States. This was an amazing achievement, and as of 2010, 47,182 miles of interstate highways are utilized by hundreds of millions daily. However, this investment in the interstate has seen a diminishing return. As car traffic on our roadways increases, our metropolitan highways are struggling to keep up. Seeming perpetual road construction brings traffic to a standstill, if it's not already due to rush hour congestion or traffic accidents. Compounding this problem is the ever-rising cost of gasoline and the thousands of dollars needed to own and maintain a vehicle, which leaves many disenfranchised. What America needs is a project for the 21st century, one that does away with congestion, allows individuals the freedom to travel, and strengthens interstate commerce. This solution is high-speed rail. While the current administration has set aside $8 billion of the stimulus package into rail programs, it is mainly to expand current tracks and upgrade already existing infrastructure. What I am proposing is a feasible plan to expand high-speed rail to 3 areas that desperately need it: Texas, the Pacific Northwest, and the Midwest. By linking these cities together, both the citizens and the region can prosper. Thank you. I yield the remaining of my time to my closing.
Thank you, Arthur. You have yielded 11 seconds. The floor is now open for 2 minutes of non-debatable technical questions. North Carolina, Florida, Indiana, Model UN, New Jersey, New York, Minnesota, Louisiana.
Thank you. My name is Emily Atkins, North Carolina delegation. Would or could these railroads be underground?
Would or could?
Yeah.
No.
They wouldn't be?
No.
My name is Courtney Scopus and I am from Florida. What is the estimated total cost?
The estimated total cost is in section 1, line 41, $5.27 billion to build the rails.
Patrick Flanagan, Louisiana. Thank you, Sir Chair. Adjusted for inflation, how much did it cost to pay for the Interstate Highway Act?
In 2010 dollars, the Interstate Highway Act cost $425 billion.
You're not agreeing, Ambassador from Union Education. Can you elaborate more on why you chose?
I'm sorry, Delegate, that is not a technical question.
Kyle Mallett, New Jersey delegation. Could you please tell us the price of a ticket would be for snow riding?
Study by the NARP, National Association of Railroad Person Studies, has estimated that the rail ticket would be 77% of the cost of an air ticket between those two places.
Where are you going to get the 5.7?
As seen in section 2 of this proposal, a joint partnership would be created with the states in question and the federal government, as well as the fact that the Department of Transportation already has $742.5 million annually allocated to high-speed rail travel and funding.
Will the building and maintenance of these rails be the responsibility of each individual state's Department of Transportation?
No, it would be Amtrak.
Thank you. Time having elapsed for non-debatable technical questions. The floor is now open for a con speaker. Is there such a speaker on the floor? Washington. Time has begun.
Thank you, Sir Chair. Dino Zonga, Washington delegation. I'd like to reserve my right to yield my time to Parikh from Model UN.
That is your right.
Okay, so the author stated that he wanted to put a railroad in the Pacific Northwest, which is where I hail, Seattle, Washington, whoop whoop. Let me tell you something about the Pacific Northwest. While we love public transportation, we have tried trains in the past and they have not worked. Specifically right now, we've been putting in a railway system that doesn't go through interstate lines, but it just goes around the major cities to like get you from Seattle to the airport and vice versa, and we're trying to make that more extensive. And it is wasting so much money in my city that is ridiculous. And that is why I do not support this proposal, and I yield my time to Parjeet from the Model UN.
Ambassador from the United Nations and Chair. Would you have to give us a series of questions?
Yes, you will. Yes, you will.
Can you elaborate more on your rationale behind making the three major regions of the trains, not including the eastern region when it's highly known that they are some of the most traffic?
I'm sorry, Delegate, time has elapsed for this. The floor is now open for a pro speaker. Is there such a speaker on the floor who has not yet spoken in this committee today? From California.
Thank you, Sir Chair. My name is Ben Zebner from the California delegation, and I reserve my right to yield my time to Delegate Pinheiro of Maryland.
That's right.
Thank you. I'd like to start off by talking about the city where I'm from, Los Angeles. Now, Los Angeles River is literally paved. It's not a real river. Here's the thing. We're coming from a city where the river is paved and the roads are not. Our streets, which were mostly built in the 50s, our highways, which were also built in the 50s, are literally crumbling. And our city is vastly underserved, despite its huge population, by poor public transportation. It is absurd to think that the regions addressed in this proposal are even more underserved currently. These areas need revitalization and the jobs and economic growth that comes with substantial public transportation. Not only is public transportation a convenient method of getting people around, it leads to job growth from the people who build the railways, and it leads to economic growth because people and goods can move across this country faster and better than ever. I yield my time to Delegate Maryland.
As a committee of Maryland delegation, going on what the previous delegate said, it is time. This will stimulate the economy, and we need to change these reasons now. This is an incredibly well-written proposal. I urge you all to vote no on it. Thank you. I yield my time.
Thank you, Delegate. The first round having elapsed, now amendments are in order for the next 5 minutes. Is there a speaker on the floor which would like to speak and has not yet spoken? Is there such a speaker on the floor that does just speak? And anyone can speak now. Washington.
Oh, yeah.
Your time has begun.
Naveed Johnson, Washington
Please display your
delegation. Thank you, Sir Chair. I would like to give the Rainbow on time to Yin from the family of Alabama.
That is your right.
So this, one of the problems with this is that it will cost a lot of money and it will need to be continually subsidized. There will be very little passengers and it'll lose, because that will lose a lot of money. And this has also been used internationally. In Japan, the bullet train was put in and it lost more than half of its market shares to the automobile. And in Europe, market shares dwindled from 8.2% to 5.8% of travel. If it doesn't work internationally, then how is it going to work in the United States? As Amtrak it was a failure, how will this be even better? I'd like to give the Rainbow time to Yin from Alabama.
Thank you, Sir Chair. Yin from the family of Alabama. I would like to first say that I like this proposal, but I would like to point out some flaws of it that I think the author should revise if it moves on to the next committee or higher. So the Cato Institute in 2009 found that the residents can still travel by car 10 times as many miles as by high-speed rail. Furthermore, the ministry